What's up guys, it is Corey from Super Kami Guru 9000. Now, I've been vocal about my love of the Pokemon game series for some time, and with the impending release of Pokemon X and Y, I think it's about time I preached the good word of the Mon. I just love these games. They're like a tractor beam of cuteness and fire. But most of all, Pokemon is a personal experience where you, the player, get to grow and bond with the Pokemon themselves. That, combined with the fact that over 649 Pokemon exist, make it so that every player has a different team of Pokemon, thus strengthening that personal bond. So, I've decided I'm going to get on my soapbox and count down my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to take stats or EVs or any of that fucking shit into account. These are just the Pokemon that I like personally. So, don't get your feelings hurt if your favorite Pokemon aren't on the list like Charizard. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start with my number 10 choice. Not Charizard. I can feel the hate on this one already, but I simply can't deny it. I fucking love Pikachu.
Pika, Pika.
What can I add that already hasn't been said about Nintendo's most famous electric mouse? Besides being the mascot of the entire series, he is also one of the stars of the long-running Pokemon anime series. Pikachu's features only add to his cuteness. The ears, those chubby red cheeks, and that distinctive lightning bolt tail. For me, Pikachu really was the first electric Pokemon I ever encountered. Back in the distant year of 1998, I myself was a novice trainer. With only a Bulbasaur and a Pidgey at my side, I braved the mysterious Viridian Forest, and after slaughtering countless Caterpies and scamming the money out of every bug catcher in the forest, I was shocked when a wild Pikachu appeared. I was so excited I accidentally defeated it and spent an extra hour just trying to catch another one. After my Pikachu destroyed Misty's team in Cerulean City, it was decided that I would keep Pikachu on my team. Of course, I would go on to find better electric Pokemon, but Pikachu holds a lot of nostalgia for me. He may not be that powerful, but he can still learn many signature electric moves like Thunderbolt and even Volt Tackle. Hell, Pikachu is so popular, he got his own Pokemon game, Pokemon Yellow, which allowed Pikachu to follow you around just like in the anime series. But my number one reason I love Pikachu so much is because he is easily my best character in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Being one of the quickest and smallest targets in this series makes him incredibly dangerous. That, and he can clear whole crowds of fighters with his Zeus-like Thunderbolts. He was the first character I chose on the N64 version, and to this day, I wreck the house with Pikachu. No prisoners!
Pika.
Love him or hate him, Pikachu is here to stay, and I can't help but just love this little guy. So who can deny that Blastoise is one badass water starter Pokemon? He's a giant turtle with cannons that pop out of his shell that can shoot water so fast, if he hits you, you'll friggin' liquefy from the impact. What Blastoise doesn't have is a seashell attached to his stomach, which he can use to hone his samurai skills. Yeah, Oshawott is actually my number 9 choice. I love you, Blastoise, but before this guy hit the block, you were my go-to water starter. But come on, just look at Oshawott. Oshawott is by far the most pitifully adorable Pokemon I have ever seen. And behind his chubby little sea otter features is a Pokemon brimming with personality and a pretty cool evolutionary line as well. But it's Oshawott himself that I truly love. When I saw the reveal of the 5th generation starters, I knew immediately I would choose Oshawott. In my Pokemon White game, I still use my Oshawott, which is at level 100, and I just love seeing people's reactions to it. Defeating Charizards with Oshawott is especially satisfying. Oshawott is pretty standard as far as water Pokemon go, and seeing as how he isn't all that strong, using him competitively is truly an uphill battle. His most unique feature is the shell which he keeps attached to his stomach. Oshawott is able to remove it and use it as a weapon. He uses it with moves like Razor Shell, which, if not for Shellder and Cloyster mooching in, it would have been the Oshawott line's signature move. With the introduction of Froakie in the 6th generation, I'm still holding firm that Oshawott is still my favorite water starter Pokemon, and that is why he is my number 9 choice. So I think it's safe to say that dragons are pretty badass, am I right? And the Pokemon series has had some of the most famous dragons, and they've been known for tipping the scale in power. That is until this thing showed up.
You suck!
For me though, when it comes to dragons in the Pokemon series, I've gotta go with Garchomp. How can you not like this badass behemoth? It's half dragon, half hammerhead shark, and all awesome. He has the unique typing of ground dragon, and oddly enough, is known to fly like a jet, but can't even learn fly. That doesn't matter though, as Garchomp is one of the most powerful dragon-type Pokemon in existence, and superficially speaking, he just looks plain badass. He's a land shark and king of the skies at the same time, and my favorite dragon-type Pokemon. The Safari Zone was one of the coolest places to visit in Pokemon Red and Blue. It was a chance to relax and catch some rare Pokemon without the fuss of battling them. However, because of this, it was very difficult to track down and catch some of the rarer creatures like Scyther, Pinsir, and the Dragon-type Dratini. For me though, the holy grail of Safari Zone was none other than the Kangaskhan. I spent weeks tracking this Pokemon down, and whenever I found one, it always ran away. Who was this mysterious Pokemon, and why can't he be mine? The first time I caught a Kangaskhan was bittersweet to say the least. With only 5 Safari Balls left, I finally caught a Kangaskhan, and I jumped with joy. I anxiously read its Pokedex entry when suddenly, my Game Boy Pocket suddenly went black. The batteries. Dear God, the batteries died before I could save! Fueled with rage, I quickly replaced the used batteries. Energizer this time, no fucking around. After chugging a surge, I dove back in, and after 3 grueling hours, the ever-elusive Kangaskhan was mine. Right out the bat, wow, what a cool Pokemon. It's a kangaroo dinosaur that is fiercely protective of its baby, which it keeps in its pouch at all times. My Kangaskhan helped me defeat the Elite Four, and my love for this Pokemon has only grown by learning that it will Mega Evolve into Mega Kangaskhan in Pokemon X and Y. Its baby's actually going to be able to leave the pouch and help attack with its mother. Pokemon X and Y can't come sooner. They say you never forget your first, and for me, Bulbasaur was my very first Pokemon. When Pokemon Red and Blue was first released, I went into the game almost completely blind. If it wasn't for my good friend Nintendo Power, I wouldn't even know what Pokemon was. Upon receiving Pokemon Blue for my birthday, I was given the ultimate choice, my very first Pokemon. Charmander seemed like the most obvious choice, and Squirtle was just too cute. But Bulbasaur seemed like the perfect combination of the two. Strong, cute, loyal, and most of all, dependable. Bulbasaur and I conquered Brock's Gym, met mysterious Pokemon in Mount Moon, evolved into Ivysaur upon defeating Misty, became Venusaur, who single-handedly stomped every trainer in Kanto, helped me catch all the legendary birds, took me to the Pokemon League, where we both stood at the top as champions of the Pokemon world. And after catching Mewtwo and completing my Pokedex, we took a long break before we could continue our journey in Johto, and conquered all those lands as well. Bulbasaur is truly my nostalgia Pokemon, my loyal friend, and to this day is still my favorite starter Pokemon in the entire series. Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning, lest these 3 titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clash. Yeah, you know who it is. In Pokemon Red and Blue, the legendary bird trio was awesome. They were rare and powerful, and seemed almost godlike. So when Pokemon Gold and Silver came out, 2 new legendary birds came with it, and they served as mascots for the games. There was Ho-Oh for Gold, and Lugia for Silver. When I saw Lugia for the first time, I knew immediately I wanted Silver version. Lugia's design to this day is still unique and just plain awesome looking. He's like a mix of a dinosaur and a dragon, and has a very streamlined, yet intimidating appearance. Being a legendary Pokemon and Guardian of the Sea makes Lugia seem truly mythological in comparison to the previous legendary Pokemon, and with his status as the protector of the 3 legendary birds trio, this just adds to his awesomeness. This beastly flying psychic Pokemon is my favorite mascot Pokemon, and continues to be my favorite flying type. Now if only we could use Shadow Lugia from Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness in X and Y, that would be incredible. To me, Electric-type Pokemon is one of my favorite types in the entire series, and before Generation 4, my favorite Electric type was Electabuzz. However, in Diamond and Pearl, many older generation Pokemon were given new evolutions, and my boy Electabuzz definitely got the hookup. My next choice is Electivire. Electivire is essentially a bigger, badder, and more powerful Electabuzz. This Yeti-like creature is a true powerhouse, and keeping in line with its previous forms, It has a very eye-catching and cool design. With the ability to use a wide array of electric-type moves like Thunderbolt and its signature move Thunder Punch, you don't want to mess with Electivire. Genius idea. Take Godzilla and shrink him down to the size of a Pokemon. I'd say the closest thing you'd get to Godzilla is the awe-inspiring and terrifying Tyranitar. What a tank! This guy just rolls over everybody. Its Pokédex entry actually states, if it rampages, it knocks down mountains and buries rivers. Afterwards, maps must be redrawn. Damn, it really is Godzilla! To me, this was my favorite Generation 2 Pokemon. What's even cooler is if you make a team of Tyranitar, Venomoth, Muk, Hydreigon, Aerodactyl, and Heracross, you got a whole Godzilla-based team. This rock dark type is a walking natural disaster, and has been a part of my team since its introduction. If we get a Mega Tyranitar in Pokemon X and Y, the Pokemon world is doomed. Since the very first game, legendary Pokemon have been a mainstay of the entire series. There have been mythological dragons, winged elemental birds, and even the god of the Pokemon world. But to this day, there is only one Pokemon who continues to impress me with its badass design, dominating power, and overall classic appeal. Mewtwo, a genetically engineered Pokemon cloned from the fossils of the ancient Pokemon Mew. Back in the day, Mewtwo was the most powerful Pokemon in existence. He was like a prize to the players who beat the game. You got all the gym badges, you defeated the Elite Four, now here's your reward, a badass psychic beast that takes out everything in one hit. Mewtwo is also famous for being the star of the first Pokemon movie. He was also playable in Super Smash Bros. Melee. I really hope they bring him back in the Wii U and 3DS games. Lugia and Mewtwo are the only legendary Pokemon that I put on my team, and seeing as how Mewtwo can Mega Evolve twice in the brand new Pokemon X and Y games, chances are he's going to stay on my team for a very long time. He can become Mega Mewtwo Y or Mega Mewtwo X. The choice is yours. They dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokemon, and they succeeded. October 23rd, 1998. I just made it out of the dark and dank rock tunnel, and seeking relief, I came upon a sleepy, almost creepy little burg known as Lavender Town. Wanting to relax, I came upon a large tower. Inside, what I found was true terror. Ghosts of all shapes and sizes attacked me left and right, and after solving the mystery of the dead Marowak, I met Ghastly, my very first ghost Pokemon. He soon evolved into the awesome Haunter and stuck with me all the way to the final gym in Viridian City. One day while hanging out with my cousin, we were playing our Red and Blue games and learned that some Pokemon evolved by trading them. After busting out the always helpful Nintendo Power, I learned that Haunter could evolve once more. Within a matter of minutes, I was floored to see my faithful Haunter evolve into the ultimate ghost Pokemon, Gengar. Right off the bat, what a great design. Scary, threatening, playful, and badass all at the same time. To me, Gengar has the most simple but perfect design for a Pokemon. You just gotta love Gengar's smile. It's so infectious. At the time in Generation 1, Gengar was the pinnacle of everything ghost Pokemon. Along with its pre-evolutions Ghastly and Haunter, they were the only ghost-type Pokemon in existence. Now, there's a ton of ghost Pokemon, but Gengar remains my favorite. Gengar themselves are known to be very mean-spirited pranksters, and can even be very aggressive towards humans. They have been known to outright steal the life force of people, killing them. Gengar also has the secondary typing of Poison, which makes him even more deadly and unique. But it's also very loyal to its trainer, and Gengar has always had a spot on my team since I found him. I can't wait to conquer the Kalos region with Gengar. We've seen a lot of crazy Pokemon and met tons of awesome trainers. Gengar is my absolute favorite Pokemon of all time, and that is why he is my #1 on the list. And so, there it is guys, my top 10 favorite Pokemon of all time. I can already feel the hate coming. I'm putting my flame shields up at maximum, but this is your chance to let me know who are your favorite 10 Pokemon. You can let me know with your comments below, or even better, you could make a video response, because everybody's got to have their own special choices out there. Everybody's got a story behind their favorite Pokemon, and I would love to hear it. Now, if any of your favorites were on the list, I'd love to hear about your thoughts about them as well. And also, tell me what you're looking forward to seeing in Pokemon X and Y. So, there it is, guys. That concludes this Pokemon video this week. I will see you next time. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.